Hello, my name is Dioversai, and I think I'm bad at making tier lists. However, we're going to make a tier list today on the Path of Champions constellations, looking at the actual constellations, and deciding how pretty they are, and also how accessible the powers are. If I have the 6-star, I'll try to talk about how good it is. But this isn't really about power, it's mostly just for fun, looking at the constellations, and also, kind of determining the accessibility of them. This template is from Tiermaker. It is by Cyclonus1011, and yeah, we're going to use it. It has all the champions in it, so we're going to move all the ones that don't have constellations into the no constellation tier, because, yeah, that's where they belong. And then a couple warnings. First off, I'm not an art man. I probably will look at some of these arts and not know what they are, but you might look at the arts and know what they are. So don't judge me too hard. And then second, I'm going to be kind of mean about, or critical, I guess, not mean, about positioning of gemstone powers. I feel like when they lock the regional power, so plus XP for all of a region, or plus health for all of a region, plus reroll, when they lock that behind other gemstone powers, I think that's kind of predatory, and I don't like it at all. So I will point that out when I see that, because I just feel like it's a bad practice, and it's kind of designed just to make you spend more money when perhaps you would not want to do that. And if the node was more accessible, it would be a better experience. So those are my notes before we go into this. Okay, now given that, we'll start with Aatrox. Aatrox's constellation looks like this. I'm not sure what it's supposed to be. Like, I think this is supposed to be his arm to the hand, and then I guess he just has no body, and this is his legs, his leg into his arm, and then this is supposed to be his arm holding the sword. I would like this to be out a little bit here so it looks more like a sword and less like a diamond, but that is fine. Overall, I'm not too mad about it. His 4-star here does block out every other node, which is bad. So that's an automatic disqualification for S tier. And then you have 2 stars here, your wild shard stars, blocking your 5-star power, which is fine. Any wild shard power that blocks something out, I think is completely fine. Then you have your Star of Discovery, Star of Blessings. Star of Blessings is probably the most impactful power, probably even more than a 6-star, because it just makes World Ender cost 10 instead of 16, which is really strong. And then a 6-star power is okay. Once you get to transform, it's really strong, but getting to that point can be a struggle if you have to block with things that don't have doubled stats instead. So yeah. And then for his gemstone powers, they are all blocked by either Celestial Legends or Celestial Fortune. These don't apply to everyone. And then you have your Celestial Bounty and your Celestial Insight. If you want Celestial Insight, you have to go through 2 other nodes to get to it, and I think that sucks. But overall, I would say that this is kind of like a B. I don't like that the 4-star power blocks out all the other nodes, and I don't like that Celestial Insight is blocked by 2 other things. And I'm not really sure on the picture. Like, I'm just not convinced that I know what it's supposed to be. I roughly think it's supposed to be a man holding a sword, but I'm not sure on that. Next we have Ahri. I think Ahri is maybe the best constellation in the game. I think it is very pretty. I think that everything is very accessible. So for example, this is a gemstone power, this is a gemstone power, this is a gemstone power, and that's a gemstone power. None of those are locked either behind your 4-star, which is here up top, your 4-star, your 5-star, or your 6-star. and none of those are even locked behind each other, which happens sometimes. Like your 4-star will block your 6-star. That's pretty common. Maybe I should make the tier maker smaller so that you can actually like see everything. It doesn't really matter anyway, right? We'll make it a little bit smaller. And so yeah, everything is completely accessible here, and even the regional ones aren't locked out. You could get the 3-star and then get your 2 regional powers if you wanted. So yeah, I think this is a really good constellation. I think it's very accessible. I think it's pretty. I like how it's laid out. The one downside for this for me is that she's the 9-tailed fox and you only have 7 stars on the outside. But I mean, probably some of those tails are behind other tails. It's fine. I'm not going to be too critical about it. Ahri's an easy S. I think it's the best constellation in the game, actually. Next we have Ambessa, also pretty well laid out. So you have your 3-star here, which blocks your 4-star, but the 4-star is out of the way, not blocking anything else. You have your 5-star here, also out of the way, not blocking anything except for your gemstone powers. So for your gemstone powers, your regionals are locked behind Celestial Legends, which, you know, sucks. But at least they're not blocked behind each other in addition to that. So, you know, -1 point but not -2 points. And then, yeah, everything else is really accessible, and then this is at the end. Also, you can see her 6-star power is on the blade, like the tip of the blade for her weapon, and they actually do this fairly frequently, and I think it's really cool. So, I don't know how good her 6-star power is. I don't think she needs it, so I'm probably never going to invest in it. Ambessa is kind of crazy as is. Yeah, so I think this is a good constellation. You can fill out everything just with wild shards for all your stars if you never get any of the regional currencies, and I think that's great. I also think it's pretty, so I'm going to go ahead and give that an S as well. Next we have Annie, who does not have a star, so we're going to put her in, I called it don't own, can't comment, but we're going to make it no constellation. So we're going to put that in a no constellation. Also Aurelion Soul, Bard, Diana. Okay, I think I moved them all. So moving on to Ashe. I like the bow of Ashe's constellation. I do wish that the arrow was longer and like this flowing part of the cloak was the arrow instead. I think that would look cooler because it would be like a bow pointing out the arrow. I think that would be cool. Or if you move the constellation powers, that's what these are, or gemstone powers, not constellation powers. But if you move these gemstone powers up maybe towards the hood, then you could give them more accessibility instead of putting them all in a row with the 2 regional powers at the end. Again, I think that's a predatory practice. She also has accessibility problems, where your 4-star here is blocking out everything else, but once you get the 4-star, everything else is open. You can get, you know, the rest of your 5 stars. I don't know what they're called, bonus stars here, and then you have your 6-star at the point of the arrow. Like I said, often they're on the ends of the weapons, and mana flows up top. So I think that's nice. I think this picture overall is actually very pretty. But it does have accessibility issues, and I really hate what they did here by putting those gemstone powers all the way locked behind all the other gemstone powers. Again, I think that is predatory, so I don't like that. I'm going to put this in B, but it is pretty. I just kind of wish this arrow was more of a focus than the cape. I don't know if the cape is like significant to Ashe lore, and I'm missing something. Could be. Don't know. Next we have Caitlyn. And Caitlyn, I like her constellation a lot. It's just like a person standing, and then you have like this reflection off the lens flare, making her 6-star at the bullseye. So, because Caitlyn is the marksman, makes sense that her 6-star is in this bullseye here. And then you have your stars, your bonus stars, all around the edge there, all pretty accessible. In a unique away here. Your 4-star can be purchased before you even get the 3-star, which is kind of cool. Your 5-star is blocked by the 4-star, which, you know, isn't great, but it's fine. If you're getting the 5-star, you probably want the 4-star as well. Doesn't hurt. And then the only downside to this is, again, your regional powers are blocked behind other regional powers. So you either have to take Fortune or Legends in order to get to Insight and Bounty. Or I guess you could get the 6-star and then get Bounty and Insight. So, I mean, overall it's not too bad. Gemstone powers aren't real. I would give Caitlyn an S. Everything else is really accessible, and I think it's one of the cooler designs. Next we have Darius. I think this is supposed to be his axe mostly. I would like another star, like maybe here at the tip, to just show, to make it like look a little bit more axe-like. I think that would be cool, but overall, it's fine. It does have some accessibility problems. So here is your 3-star, here's your 4-star. Your 4-star is locking out Star of Legends, or the 5-star is. Probably more often you get the 4-star before the 5-star. And also your Star of Wonder is locked out either by a gemstone power or your 6-star power, which I think is pretty egregious. And then you have Celestial Bounty here and Celestial Insight there. Those are both locked out by the 6-star, but I think that's kind of okay. I would switch this Star of Wonder here with a star with Celestial Legends there, and I think that would be much better for accessibility. And again, I don't think the axe is like super attractive. It's fine, but I would give this a B. Next we have Ekko. Ekko is like prime stickman. A lot of these are stickman, and I'm not sure why his hands hold his 6 and 5-star power, but it's fine. I don't really care about that. Everything is locked out by his 4-star though, which I do care about, so all of your stars are locked behind that. And then you have another instance here where Celestial Legends is blocking out your regional powers, which we do not like, and I say me do not like. I think it would be nice if like maybe one of these stars moved up to his head so that he could really finish the stickman off and have something like just right in the middle there. But overall, I think the picture is fine. And you just have that slight accessibility problem there. I don't know that I want to give it an A though, because I don't like being locked out by the 4-star. I think that's really bad. So I'm going to give it a B. But close to an A probably. Minus that accessibility issue. Elder Dragon, I have no idea what this picture is trying to be. I assume these are the wings, and this is probably like a foot or something, and that's the head and claws. But I'm just really not sure, and that's kind of a problem for me. But it's probably a personal problem, to be honest. In terms of accessibility, this is his 4-star, it's easily accessible, and then you have your regional power, very accessible, which is crazy. It's very uncommon. 5-star and your 6-star, all accessible. Your stars of discover, or your bonus stars, all easily accessible, and Celestial Insight even, just really easy, just locked behind Star of Wonder. So I think his accessibility is really good. I think the picture, I don't get it, but is fine. Because of how accessible it is, I'm going to give him an A. If I understood his picture, I'd probably give him an S, but I don't, so there's that. Someone else will, just not me. This is Evelynn. Her star, yeah, her constellation is, she has horns, that's her head, and then she's kind of stick figure-y. I assume this is like her arm going into whatever this demon spike thing is. Maybe that is also her arm. Not sure. I don't know, whatever. And then this is another spike. Her 6-star being at the tip of the horn, that is unsurprising. And then for accessibility, so regional locked behind the 5-star is kind of okay. And then here is your 4-star, which locks the other regional. So the Celestial Insight is locked behind 2 other gemstone powers, which I do not like, but I mean, it's fine, I guess. And then your 6-star is up here. Everything else is perfectly accessible. You could get all of your bonus stars without ever touching your 4, 5, or 6-star. So I think it's pretty good. I like the stick figure horns. I'm not entirely sure what the rest is. I think it's good enough to give it an A though. Fiddlesticks is maybe my favorite champion in the game. Just the way he works is, or it works, is unique. However, his Constellation's kind of scuffed. So you have your 4-star here, which is fine, but then you lock your Star of Legends either behind that or your 5-star, and then your 6-star is in an okay place. I think that's fine. And then you have your Star of Discovery there, Star of Wonder is there, and then you have Celestial Legends, of course, locking out your other powers, but they're not locked out by each other than Celestial Legends, and at a certain point we kind of just have to let it go. One of the things I don't like about Fiddlesticks is Constellation is it doesn't all fit on one screen, so you do have to scroll to see the rest. I think that could have been put on one screen and that would have been nicer, but aside from that, it's mostly fine, minus the one error, which is the Star of Legends here, which you definitely cannot get to unless you purchase either the 4 or 6-star, and I don't like that. If it fit on the screen, I'd probably give it an A, but it doesn't, so I give it a B. Next we have Gwen? Yep. Gwen is a scissors. It's just the scissors, which I think is cool. You have your 3-star here, immediately goes into your bonus stars. All of the bonus stars are easily available here. This is your 6-star, your 5-star, and your 4-star down here. All super accessible. And then you have your gemstone powers, which are fine there. And then if you wanted this one, you do have to get either the 5-star or Celestial Bounty in order to get Insight. But I mean, that's not too bad. Locking in a regional power with another regional power, I'm a little less mad about than locking it out with Star of Legends, which is the worst thing that you can do. But yeah, all the bonus stars are really accessible. The 5 and the 4 and the 6-star also very accessible. They don't lock each other out. I think having it just look like the scissors is super cool. So I give Gwen an S. Next we have Heimerdinger. I don't know what Heimerdinger is supposed to be. Like, I don't understand what this shape is. Like, I guess if you just follow the silhouette, you have the wrench, the arm, the eyes, this little magnifying glass thing here, and then, I don't know, is this supposed to be his hair? Because it's not really his hair, it looks like a crown or something. I don't know, it looks more like horns than hair. I don't know if Yordles have horns that look like they have ears and not horns. So, I don't know what this is supposed to be. Also, you have a gemstone power here, which is fine. Your 4-star locks out everything else, though. So, you are locking out Star of Bounty and Discovery, and then you get to Mana Flow. And Mana Flow locks out Star of Blessings, which is terrible. But you do get Celestial Bounty here, so the regional is not locked by another gemstone power, and that's kind of nice. And then you have your Star of Legends, Star of Wonder, and then your 6-star up here. I feel like, yeah, there's another regional there locked out by Celestial Fortune, which sucks. So I think overall this is pretty inaccessible. I also don't know what this picture is trying to be, so I'm gonna give that a C. I think C is gonna be our lowest tier. We can just delete D there. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like it. Next we have Jayce. I don't know what this is supposed to be either. Kind of looks a little black hole-ish to me, but I'm not really sure what it's supposed to be. Still, I like the geometry on it. I think it's pretty, even if I don't understand what it is. Your 4 stars up here, it's not blocking anything off. Your 5 stars there, also not blocking everything off. And your 6 star is here, not blocking anything off. Where he falls is the Celestials. Again, you have your regionals blocked by 2 Celestials, and I think that is bad. But overall, if you pretend gemstones don't exist, I give Jayce an S. I think, yeah, overall it's pretty good. You can get to all your stars without having to spend any money, and I think that is great. Next we have Jinx. Jinx is another stick figure laying down, holding a gun. It's fine. I don't think it looks like particularly good or particularly bad. It's fine. Everything is locked out by sorcery though, so your 4 star is locking out all of your bonus stars. And then the celestial powers are of course locking your regionals in, which I don't like. And then, yeah, your 6-star power is in a fine spot, and your 5-star power is actually also blocking out Star of Discovery and Blessings, which is bad. I think this is a C. Like, it's really inaccessible, because you have your 4-star and your 5-star locking out others of your things, and then your regionals are in a terrible place. That said, I do like the design of it. I think it looks pretty, but yeah, I just don't like what they did with the access points. So for example, if you move Mana Flow up here and then just Star of Blessings down there, that would have been a lot better. And then if you move this sorcery from there even to the end, that would have been better. Although it would have been nice if there were more lines of connection so that you could get to the 4-star without necessarily buying all the other stars, but just locking things behind the 4-star I think is really restrictive, and I don't like that, so I'm gonna go ahead and put it in a C. I think it could have been done better. Next we have Kai'Sa. Kai'Sa, I think, is exactly what the silhouette is showing. This is whatever her shoulders, I'm not sure what they are. Are they wings? Are they mech suit stuff? I have no idea. And then this is a beam of energy which contains all of your celestial powers, of course locking out your 2 regionals. 3-star is here, your 4-star is down, 5-star is pretty easily accessible, and your 6-star is easily accessible. So the rest of it's fine. I think the design is kind of cool, even if I'm not entirely sure what it is. I think it still looks kind of cool, and I like that there's this energy beam here, which is weird because I don't like Ashe's cloak, and it's kind of the exact same thing. I'm going to go ahead and give this an A though, because it's really accessible. Next we have Kayle. So Kayle, another champion where the 6-star is at the tip of their weapon. So you have Day of Judgment there. This is your 1-star, or 2-star? 1-star? Shared Blessings. So this is your 1-star. Does this even work? Your 2 stars here. And your 3 stars here. Okay, I understand now. So 1, 2, 3, and this is your 4-star there. Out of the way. And then you have your 5-star here. It's only blocking a gemstone power. And then you have more gemstone powers, of course blocking out your regionals. And yeah, Celestial Legends blocking out your bounty and insight, which we've been over enough times now. I don't like that. And then everything else is pretty accessible. I like where the 5-star is positioned and the 6-star is positioned. I think overall it looks pretty cool. I'm not sure if that 4 is intentional. I'm sure it has to be, right? I don't know if Kayle has something specific with the number 4. I know Jhin does, but here we are. Overall I think it looks cool. It's pretty accessible. I don't see anything bad about it, so I'm gonna go ahead and put it in S, because it's a good one. Next is Lillia. I have no idea what Lillia's is supposed to be. Just no clue. I mean, I assume it follows the silhouette, but I don't get why it looks like it does. Your 3-star power is here. Your 4-star power is there, blocking out your Star of Wonder, which is bad. Your regionals are, you know, in the worst possible way, of course. Mana Flow is fine, and Dream of Spirits is fine, positionally. So, I would put this in B because I don't quite understand what it's doing, in terms of the picture here. And also, I don't like that they lock out a star by your 4-star power. Yeah, so I'll put that in a B. Next we have Lux Illuminated. So Lux Illuminated is, I guess this is the cloak, moving into this staff, and then her 6-star is in the middle of the light magic that she is creating, which I think is a cool touch. It's another character where your 4-star is locking out everything. So here's your Star of Bounty. Then you have your 5-star locking out 2 more, which is terrible. Insight is not locked out except for by Mana Flow, which is fine. And then I think you can get to all of your others with the 6-star power. If you did want to buy all of the powers though, your investment would be high because you have to get past the 5 and 6-star, which I think is a little bit unreasonable. I do like the design, minus I think this cloak could have been something else, maybe. Since you're focused on weapons mostly, I don't see how the cloak really fits in. I'm gonna give this a C because I feel like it's extremely inaccessible, locking 2 powers behind your 5-star. I think that's really bad. Next we have Misfortune. And I really like Misfortune's Constellation. Here's like a dress for your stick figure, a hat for your stick figure. There was a line from here to here. I think it might be a little bit better, but I mean, I'm not going to be too critical about that. We have 4-star towards the end. You have 5-star towards the end. Your 6-star is the tip of the captain's hat, which is, you know, a nice touch. And then you can easily get to Celestial Insight, and then you can also easily get to Celestial Bounty from the 6-star, but I mean, they are difficult to access outside of the 6-star, so I don't know if I would say that that's like super good or anything. It's good for me because I bought the 6-star. 6-star is incredible. I know I said that I might talk about those stars, and then I didn't. But her 6-star is incredible, particularly if you have her pay to win relic. Yeah. So that's how I feel about that. I think Misfortune is a great constellation, and I would label it an S. Next we have probably Morgana. Yeah. We have Morgana here. I don't know. I don't really like this design. This is supposed to be like the whip, I guess? I guess that makes sense. She does like chaining things, so I guess that makes sense. Your 6-star is in her hand, which is kind of nice. Everything is, of course, locked up by her 4-star, which is unfortunate. And then you have your 5-star here, which locks out 2 other stars, which I am just not a fan of. And then all of this for the gemstone powers are in a line, of course, with the regionals being at the end, which I think is, again, predatory. So I'm gonna put this in C. I really don't like what they did here. It might look better if it was filled out. The constellations tend to, because the lines are so light until they're filled out. But I really don't like it. I think that it's one of the least accessible designs. Next we have Nasus. So it's 4 stars here, blocking out only a regional, which is fine. You have Mana Flow just off to the side. Your Star of Wonder is there. Your 6 stars, the tip of his head. And then Celestial Legends is there, blocking out Celestial Insights, and where's this last one? over here. Okay. Celestial Fortune's just left in the middle of nowhere. That's fine. Aside from his gemstone powers, which are weirdly accessible, everything else is very accessible. And I think overall it's good. I like the triangle here. Or, it's not a triangle. Diamond? Rhombus? Whatever. I like the shape here. I think it looks pretty cool. I think it kind of has like a nice Egyptian vibe to it. And so I would give Nasus an S. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with him. I hope. Like 50% chance I said what was wrong and then I forgot that I said what was wrong. Nautilus has the Fiddlesticks problem where half of him is off the screen, so his weapon's down here. I think I would also like if his weapon, since we're focused on it by going off this far, had 2 stars here and here. It doesn't. His 6-star is blocking off Insight, and Insight is still blocked off by Legends, which I think is terrible. You have your 3-star here, your 4-star should be here, and then your 5-star is here, locking off one of your stars. I think this is actually really poorly accessible. Except Celestial Bounty is kind of fine. And then it doesn't all fit on the one page. I don't know. I'm torn between like B and a C because I really like how it looks. I think it looks like a B. Like if you look at this, just the Constellation, you can kind of tell that it's Nautilus, which is cool. But I really don't like the accessibility issues of it, so I think I'm gonna have to put it in C. Like you can't lock a Star of Legends behind a 5-star. I think that's just bad. I mean, obviously you can do that because they did that, but you shouldn't. And then I picked Neeko, and then I just exited. Here's Neeko. She kind of has the same thing as Morgana, going with like this energy here. I don't know if energy's really important to Neeko. I have no idea. I know nothing about this person's lore. So, yeah. This is Harmony of the Wild. So you have your 1, 2, and 3-star here. You could go immediately to the 4-star from the 2-star if you wanted. But again, we have something where the 4-star is locking out all of our other stars. And then you have your 6-star. You have 2 bonus stars, 3 bonus stars. But then you need to get mana flow before you can get the other 2 bonus stars, which I think is terrible. And then of course it's a straight line of your gemstone powers with the regionals at the end. This is bad. So I'm going to put that in C. I kind of like the stick figure though, to be honest. I think it's a good stick figure. But I just don't like how they locked out the powers. I think it's bad. Next we have Norra. Norra is interesting. It's glasses and a hat, which I like. I think you really get a Norra vibe from it. But the powers are all laid out weird. So you have your 1-star, your 3-star, your 2-star, and then you can access all your other bonus stars pretty easily. However, if you want to get to the 6-star, you do have to go through either the 4 or 5-star, which isn't perfect. Celestial Insight is easily accessible though, and so is Celestial Bounty, which is very unusual. The hardest one to get is Celestial Fortune, and you would never want that anyway. Well, I mean, I guess if you're like really focused on one champion, it is a bonus. Overall, I think this is a great design, and I'm gonna put it in an S. Next we have Pyke. I don't know what this is. I guess this is like a hook and then the harpoon and then just goes up his shoulder. It's just like spiky stuff. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. The 6-star is up over there. It's not blocked by anything. The 4-star does block off 2 of his other stars, and then you have mana flow, and then kind of interesting, Bounty is next after the 5-star, but they still put Insight at the end. Yeah, I mean, it's fairly good except for this here. I don't understand what the concept is. This would be between an A and a B for me. I don't know if this forces it into being a B. I think it might. I think it has to. You just can't lock out your powers. It's just not good for the players. Especially the free players, which obviously I am a champion of. Next we have Samira. Here's your 3-star. And then you have your gemstone powers all in a row. Fortune being at the end. This Fortune is a regional power, which is not typical. And then you have Bounty here. So Samira is one of... There's 2 Fortune? Okay. So this is a character that doesn't have Celestial Insight, so you get no XP bonuses from her, but you do get +5 chance for epics, which is neat. 4-star does block out, 2 more stars, and then your 6-star is at the top of a weapon, as per typical. I think this has to be a B because your 4-star is blocking out 2 more, but I like it a lot, visually. I think it looks cool. Close to calling it an A just because I love it so much visually, but yeah, I don't like that they block out. Next we have Swain. So Swain has issues. One of the strongest 6-stars in the game. If you pick it, you'll never go wrong picking Swain. His regional powers, or his gemstone powers, you have 2 there. And then you have 2 there for the regionals, locked behind his 5-star power, and his 4-star does lock 3 of your stars, which I think is kind of egregious. Normally you're only locking like 1 or 2 of them. And then his design, I don't get it. I don't think it's very good. I'm not sure what it's trying to do. I don't know why this line's over here. Is this supposed to be like a cape? I just don't understand what we're doing here. Is this like the sigil of Noxus? I have no idea. I don't know what it is, and it is inaccessible, so I'm going to put him in C. Obviously, in terms of power, he is S tier. He's one of the best by far. Next we have Taliyah. I like Taliyah's stick figure. The 4-star does block out all the other stars though, which of course is bad. Gemstone or mana flow up here, and then at the tip of her fingers is of course throw another rock, which is kind of hilarious. I love that. And then nothing else is blocked out except all of your gemstone powers are in a line, with the regional being the last 2, of course. I've repeated that a lot of times. This is an intentional design to make you buy more gemstones if you want to get to those regional powers, and I hate it. Aside from that, it's fine. However, because of that there, I think we're going to put this in B. Pretty though. Tryndamere is next. And this is like the swing of a sword, right? It's a pretty ephemeral concept, and I like it. His 4-star is in his helmet. His 6-star is just half. Oh. His 6-star is in his no-no spots, which is hilarious. His 5-star is at the start of his swing. I probably should have known that. The 5-star is blocking out Star of Wonder, or the 6-star is blocking out Star of Wonder. So that's bad. And his 4-star is blocking out Star of Discovery. All of that terrible. His regional powers. What did I press? Okay, we're back. Celestial Legends, Celestial Insight. So these are blocked by... His regionals are blocked by Celestial Legends, which is, I mean, common. It's not the most egregious. And yeah, so his accessibility is pretty bad. The 6-star is kind of hilarious, though. I'm gonna put it in B because the 6-star made me laugh. But it should probably be a C. The accessibility is trash. Also, it doesn't actually look that good, I don't think. I do like the swinging of the sword. I think that's fun, though. Vayne is our next one. So Vayne is interesting because of this like little dipper kind of situation here. So if you get her 1 star, you can get 3 of the bonus stars immediately. Celestial Legends is just sitting up there. However, to get to the other 2, you do have to go through her 4 star, which is bad. And the 4 star locks out the 5 star, and her 6 star locks out the 2 regionals. So I don't think that's good. I think this is mirroring whatever this cloak design here. I don't know how it could be a cloak since it's not touching, but it kind of seems like it is. And then of course the 6 star is at the tip of her weapon, which is always a cool touch. I think I would rate this a B. I think I like how it looks a lot, but the accessibility is pretty poor. Although weirdly poor, like it starts off really nice, and then it becomes poor for some reason. It's fine. Vex. I don't know what Vex is trying to do. Is it just supposed to be hair? It doesn't really make sense. Oh, it's the little shadow thing. Okay. I think that's cool. Let's look at this actual card. Starting deck, Vex. This shadow guy here is the 2 star. Or the level up. So yeah, this is like the level up picture for the 2 star. And it's this guy here. Okay. Look, I learned something today. I'm so proud of me. Your 1 star, your 2 star, your 3 star. So that's nice. Your 4 star here. And your 5 star here. This locks out. This is your 6 star. It locks out Star of Wonder. It's only 1 lockout. And then this is actually maybe the worst. What's it called? Regionals. Because if you want both regionals, you actually have to get both of the others. It's not actually the worst because a lot of them are in a line and that straight line kind of does the same effect. But it's not good. So, yeah. I'll put this in a B. I don't know. You just can't lock out a star with the 4 and a 5. It's just bad. So I think the accessibility brings it down for me, and I like it more than I did before I realized that this was the shadow person. But I'm gonna toss it in a B anyway. I don't think it's like incredible. Close to an A though for me, just from looks, but yeah, the accessibility is kind of the main factor for me there. Next we have Vi. So you have 1, 2, 3. Vi is just like a normal stick figure person, right? You have your hand here, your 6 star at the punching part of your glove, and then your 5 star at the other glove, in that little circle there, which I assume is where the power goes. And then immediately following your 5, you have your 2 regionals, and then 1, 2, 3. I don't think anything's blocked out by a 4 star, because the 4 star is just here. So this is like really accessible, which is good. You can just get your 1, 2, 3, and then the gemstone powers aren't too egregious. And then looks a little like an umbrella to me, but that's because I don't have these built out. I think it would look cooler if I did. I don't know, it's fine. I put an S. There's no downsides. A's are really hard to come by, I've realized. Probably some A's should be an S. Maybe this should just all be 1 tier. I don't know. I just work here. Okay, next we have Viego. So Viego is just a sword and a crown. Long sword, crown here. You got your 1, 2, 3, then you can get all of your stuff. The only thing is that the Star of Wonder is blocked by your 4 star, but everything else is perfectly accessible. And then all of your other gemstone powers are blocked up by Celestial Legends, which is pretty common. I want to say it's an A. It's just like really pretty. And I know this is going to be like somewhat inconsistent because blocking out a star with another star, I've typically just put them in B, but I just really like how it looks. I think it's just sick. It just looks so cool. So I'm going to put it in A because it's my list and I get to choose. But I actually should probably merge like the other A's with S and then move Viego down and call this tier an A. I don't know, whatever, it doesn't actually matter. If you're listening this far, know that I had indecision. Next we have Viktor. So I like that Viktor's 6-star is in the middle of like all of this energy that's all focused in one point. I think that's really cool. I don't know what the rest is trying to do. I guess this is his glove and his like robot arm shooting a thing and then all of that. I don't know that I don't know. It's very lasery, but I don't know that it's cool. His 4-star... My computer just locked up. His 4-star is locking a regional, but it's also locking Star of Bounty. Also the 5-star does that as well. I think the other regional being locked behind its 6. Like, at least they're not locking each other, which is something I've said a couple times. And then, yeah, the other stars are pretty accessible. I don't love the picture, and the accessibility is pretty good though. I mean, you're only losing 1 star here. I'm gonna put it in B because I don't love the picture, but it could be an A depending on what metric I'm using at what given time. Next we have Volibear. Literally no clue what this picture is supposed to be. It just makes no sense to me. It's fine. So you have your 3-star, and then you have your bonus stars all right there, except for 1 bonus star, which is over there, locked behind the 4-star. 6-star and the 5-star are fine, and then you're of course locking your regionals behind the other 2, which sucks. I have no idea what this picture is, so I'm gonna put it in B, but yeah. Also because of the accessibility issue. Next we have Warwick. Warwick 6-star is sick. That's great. It's very powerful. Guess these are his ears. His ears are gemstone powers. The tail has the 2 regionals. And your 3-star power is probably here. Yeah. So here's your 4-star, here's your 5-star, your 6 stars in the corner. This is a very accessible design. However, I don't love it. Like, it just doesn't do anything for me. But it is all accessible, so if you got your 3-star, you could go any direction, it would be fine. The regionals aren't even super predatory. I'll put it in A just because I don't super love the design, but aside from that, it's pretty good. Next we have Yasuo. I don't know what this is. It looks like an anglerfish to me. I guess maybe it's supposed to be his cape and his hair? And his sword? I don't know. I don't love it. It doesn't do anything for me. His regionals are in a terrible position, but that's, you know, pretty typical. His 4-stars out of the way, his 5-stars out of the way, his 6-stars out of the way. So I think overall it's pretty good. If I had any idea what this was supposed to be, I'd probably make it an S. But it looks like an anglerfish to me, so I'm going to just drop it in A. And finally, we have Yuumi. So Yuumi is a cat lunging. Not lounging. Lounging is an entirely different thing. And then we have her 3-star here. So her 4-star is locking all of her other things. And then her 5-star directly locks 2 bonus stars. Like, you could easily move the 5-star up here and then just swap that, and this would be a much better design, or a much more accessible design at least. I think the 6-star is in a fine spot. The gemstone powers are of course locked behind other gemstone powers, which sucks. But what can you do about it? And so overall, I'd say I like the picture, but double locking bonus stars behind the 5-star I think is like super egregious. So I'm gonna go ahead and put her in C tier. I think it's, I don't know, just move a note around so that that doesn't happen. I think that's, yeah, it's predatory. Anyway, that is all for me. I hope you enjoyed this. This is me going through, you know, some champions and telling you how I feel about how their constellations look. I did say that I would talk about their powers, and then I totally just didn't do that. Or if I did, it only happened accidentally, so let's just go through. Ahri 6-star power is strong, but she doesn't actually need it. I don't think it changes much for her, even in terms of time to kill. It is just fine, but it's not like overly game-changing or anything, so I wouldn't necessarily invest in it again. If I had the choice, I'd probably take that crystal back. Fiddlesticks 6-star power is nuts. It makes it so that your units can tank anything. They have like infinite stats basically, and your opponents have no stats, so that's really strong. I actually also don't think it's necessary though. Fiddlesticks kind of just operates well on his own, but it is nice. Jinx makes it so that Jinx is playable in deadlies, or rather, you know, the same S tier that she performs at in normal adventures she can perform at in deadlies, based on her 6-star power. Kayle, I don't even know what it does. Oh, it's the, when you play powers they deal. This is nuts. It's really strong, and it, yeah, it's really good at clearing things. So it helps a lot, but I still don't think Kayle is that good. But it does help a lot. Swain's 6-star power is obviously probably the best in the game. Yeah, it's probably just the best in the game. Being able to spread your damage onto every enemy is incredible. You just never have to worry about anything at all. Viego's power kind of similar. It just lets him steamroll very fast, because it just makes everything big, and then all of your units have like 30 power, and it's great. And you can do that super early too. Viktor's power is literally duplicate, so when you play created spell or unit copy it, it's just duplicate that goes on everything. So it's, yeah, it's really good. Warwick's power, same kind of deal. You do 3 instances of damage basically all of the time, and it does give your units a way to heal so that they can stay alive, which they normally lack. You can turn the barrel from the salesman, use cask salesman, into like an actual unit that can destroy the enemy nexus. So yeah, Warwick's power is nuts. Aatrox, I think I talked about it, doesn't really change much. It's nice when it happens, but you still have to survive the early game, which can be a problem. Caitlyn's is really fun. Creating that ace in the hole. The 50% chance to crit means you don't know what's going to happen. The animation on it's cool, and you can usually play it for free or highly discounted. I think something with like Chemtech and Ace in the Hole would be really fun too, in, you know, one of those adventures where you can pull that off. So yeah, I would definitely consider doing that, because it's fun. I mean, it is just fun. It also makes it so that you can remove units pretty well, which is one of your negatives. But I don't know that it changes her status overall, because she's still a little bit slow. Evelynn I don't have, but I assume it's insane. It sounds insane. Just doubling the stats, because your husks grow, and then every time they grow they double that, and it sounds like it should be pretty good. Kai'Sa I've heard is really good, but I don't have it. But giving something else Kai'Sa's keywords when you have all the keywords sounds very strong, so I would probably guess that it's very strong. Lux Illuminated, same deal, I don't have it. I don't think anyone's actually really talked about how good it is either. I don't know that it's necessary. Like, Lux just kind of works. And I don't know that you need to refill and play spells. I don't even know that you have very good spells in your starting deck. I mean, you would draw Smoldering Smirk, which will let you get rid of something, so maybe you could take advantage of that with the Overwhelm. And then that would be pretty strong, but it's just not needed. You just attack twice and you win the game. So, I mean, I'm sure it helps. Misfortune, it's kind of hard for me to distance Misfortune 6-star from Shock and Awe. Shock and Awe is incredible combined with the 6-star. The 6-star makes it so that while in combat your spells and skills deal 4 extra damage. So that means whenever you attack with a 1 cost unit you do 5 damage and then you just win the game. So my Misfortune is level 47 and this is completely a result of when I don't have a lot of time to play, I just run Misfortune through an adventure and it takes like 3 minutes. So she's incredibly strong. I don't think she's the best power-wise, I think Swain is. But for speed, just investing in her will save you a lot of time. I don't know anything about Nautilus. I think Neeko's power is kind of weak. It just isn't that good. Like, you do a little bit of extra damage, but it's not a lot of extra damage. If you cloned a bunch of extra Neeko, maybe then it would be okay, but it just doesn't feel that strong. Norra, I don't have, but sounds hilarious to just summon level 2 champions. Yasuo, I don't think his power matters at all. Round end recalls stunned enemies. This could probably clear your board pretty well, but like normally you're not worried about anything with Yasuo anyway because you have infinite stuns, kind of regardless of what you're doing. So yeah, I don't know. I don't have Ashe's 6-star, but apparently you play her with 3 Curator's Gatebreakers, and then you just win the game after you've frostbitten like 5 times, which you can do in like round 1. Darius, I think his is bad, like actively bad. So when allies attack, summon a random Noxian ally with cost equal to your mana gems. The problem with this is that they're not attacking, so like you don't even get advantage of that until the following round, unless you get like one of the ones that has an effect on them. But yeah, I think it's just bad overall. Echoes is apparently crazy. I don't have it either, but it doubles the stats of anything you find in a prediction, which is very strong. And because you predict a lot. Elder Dragons turns dragon boons into dragon souls. I hear that's stronger than it sounds, but it doesn't sound very strong. Gwen's apparently can just win the game immediately with. So game start, summon 4 ghastly bands and rally. You can do something with a stack deck where you give them all extra power and then you just attack in the beginning and you win the game. Yeah, I mean that's strong for sure. Although Force Rally is probably less good in Deadly Adventures because you're guaranteed the attack token anyway. Heimerdinger, I don't even know what his 6-star is. Attack allies in hand and play a start with 3 random. So, I don't know. I don't know if that changes anything for him. It's probably better because like having more upgrades is good versus having less upgrades. But I don't know. Dreamwoven Spirits on Lillia. So I've had this sometimes in adventures and it's absolutely nuts. Each round, the first time you play a unit, summon an ephemeral copy of it attacking. Yeah, I mean, you do so much with this. Having an extra unit that's automatically attacking, especially if you can give it like Scout, or if it's just very strong with Overwhelm. Very strong. Morgana. I think her 6-star doesn't matter. When you curse an enemy, grant allies +1/+0. Probably makes them really strong. Probably gives them a lot of attack stats. And if you threw on Overwhelm on that, probably pretty good. You could probably win a lot of rounds earlier, would be my guess. But I don't have it, so I don't know for sure. Nasus, I think his thing works now, but it didn't always. When you slay a unit, reduce the cost of every card in your hand by 1 to a minimum of 1. When you restore the Sun Disc, grant allies everywhere +5/+5. This sounds nuts, but I haven't played with it, so I don't know for sure. but reducing the cost of cards in your hand, especially when you can use Siphoning Strike as just the thing that you have, sounds pretty good. Pyke, I don't know anything about Pyke. I don't play Pyke, but your spells everywhere have lurk. When it lurks, if it's a follower, summon it attacking, otherwise draw it. Sounds good to me, but I haven't played it, so I don't know for sure. But it sounds pretty good. Samira, when you gain the attack token, give allies +4/+0 this round. You could do this potentially more than once. Like, you always get it on your turn, and then you can trigger it again with Samira's power. So I would say it's fine. It's probably good. You probably win the game when you do it more than once. But I don't know, I haven't tried it. Taliyah's is apparently insane. If I could learn how to actually like click into constellations. When an ally attacks, it plays Threaded Volley, so this is for each ally that attacks. And your spells and skills deal 1 extra damage for each allied landmark. I'm not sure how you manage the landmark versus ally kind of thing. But it's also an elemental skill, so it can benefit from Icon of Volibear, which is Volibear's pay-to-win relic. Could also benefit from like Big Guns or Luden's Tempest. Yeah, I've heard it's really good. I, again, don't have it, so don't know. Tryndamere's is absolutely cracked. And I'm still not learning how to click into constellations. So, when you summon an ally, double its stats. And then when you play Call to Arms Rally... I mean... yeah, that's good. That's really good. You should be able to win like as soon as you're playing Call to Arms, basically. Maybe you need to play it a couple times. It's fine. Vayne's, when an ally attacks, give it +4/+0. You can attack a lot of times in a round with Vayne. And Vayne, yeah. I think you can do like 100 damage in round 3 or something. Is what I've heard. Vi, I don't know what Vi's is. When you play a card, grant allies in hand +1/+0. I don't like hand buffing in this game, so I probably don't love that, but it's probably fine. I don't know that it's broken or anything, it's probably just fine. That's like the 5th time I've done that. Let's see, what else? When you summon a Titanic ally, grant it +2/+2 for each stack of Sigil of the Storm. That sounds really good. You would, oftentimes you even have more than 10 Sigil of the Storm, so giving your allies like 20 power sounds nuts. So I would probably think that that's pretty good, especially since a lot of your units have Overwhelm, and especially if Volibear's on the board as Overwhelm. I'm also curious how that works with Curator's Gatebreaker, if that hits before or after, because then you could summon Volibear with 3 Curator's Gatebreaker, and then probably just win the game automatically. So, sounds nice. Yuumi is round start growl all allies to the strongest allies stats this round. I don't know if this is good enough. That's all I have to say about that. I don't know if that's good enough. I mean, Yuumi's gonna get buffed a lot, but it's only this round and it's only at round start, so you can't like buff and then go into that. And if your units aren't big enough to deal with deadly anyway, it's not going to change anything. But it might be good. Usually stats are better than they sound. Jayce's is Hex Tech Infusion. After you play a 6+ cost spell, deal 10 to a random enemy, or the enemy nexus if there is none. I think especially with Chemtech Duplicator, this probably just clears the board and wins the game. I've kind of wanted it, and I just haven't done it, because I kind of forgot Jayce was a thing. But it sounds pretty fun, might need to try it. Vex's is crazy. When an enemy dies outside of combat, grant other enemies Gloom. Usually you're granting 2 Gloom, which does a chain reaction and kills everything on the board. With her 4-star, which is Explosive Finale, does 4 damage to everything every time something dies, and just win the game. It's really, really strong. And then finally we have Ambessa. I don't think this constellation is necessary, because Ambessa is incredible. When you attack with 10+ power, kill the strongest back row enemy. Probably very strong. You can attack with 10 plus power very easily, but I just don't know that it matters because you just win the game anyway. And that is all of them, so I hope that that made up for the fact that I didn't talk about any of them while I was going through it by talking about it at the end. So that is all for me. Thank you for watching. People love tier lists, and I should probably show you what the tier list actually looks like. Here is our completed tier list. They're not in any specific order, and A and B is kind of mixed up, but I think S and C is probably correct. Probably. Again, based on how they look, not how they perform. Very different if I'm going by how they perform, and obviously I don't have enough information to actually make that call. So, hope you had a good time. Thank you for watching. If you like what I'm doing, like and subscribe. And on April 1st, Tuesday, already, on Tuesday we'll go over the monthly challenges and start doing that. Probably go over the monthly challenges actually on Monday because that's when the early information comes out. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.